Welcome everybody to Go Local Live. I'm Josh Fenton, CEO and co-founder, and it is a cool day in Providence, Rhode Island. Winter has joined us. The end of summer is well over with. We've got a great guest, Rose Fernandez from Cox Charities and Cox Communications. She joins us. Rosie, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm excited to be here on Giving Tuesday and just to celebrate the great work that's going on in Rhode Island and throughout the country.
Yeah, so listen, if you've got an email box, you've gotten Giving Tuesday notes from just about everybody in Rhode Island, and there's a lot of great organizations. Talk about a little bit how Cox works with the charitable community and supports them. I know you're upwards of like 100 organizations that you touch on an annual basis.
That's right. We're really proud of the work that we do here in Rhode Island and throughout the country, to be honest. We're supporting organizations through volunteerism, sponsorships, grant giving, and in-kind support. We believe it's important to invest in the communities that we live and work. And so our employees are volunteering, are supporting so many organizations from Boys and Girls Clubs to the local food pantries in your communities.
Rosie, just the employees, I think, raised about over $150,000. That went out to more than a dozen organizations. Talk about sort of that engagement between Cox employees and directly touching the community.
Yeah, so Cox Charities is our charitable giving initiative. And every year we encourage employees to pledge their support. And they do. They open up their wallets, they pledge their support and give to Cox Charities. And we were fortunate enough this year to award $155,000 in Cox Charities grants to organizations in Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Ohio. We did a big celebration at the Rhode Island State House where we recognized 13 Rhode Island organizations from, like I mentioned, Boys and Girls Clubs of Northern Rhode Island, Boys and Girls Clubs of Warwick, several others, Down City Design, XR, Academy, doing great work with STEM. So this is something that employees are committed to because not only do they give, but they also help to review the grant applications that are submitted.
Oh,
So
that's
it's kind
great.
of like a full circle for them to really participate and be involved in the work.
Talk about STEM. This has been a long time connection between Cox and the community. Obviously, we live in a vibrant digital environment in which if you don't have some basic skills on, technology, you're going to get lost behind. Talk about that connection between Cox and STEM initiatives in and across Rhode Island.
So, we started with STEM and then we expanded to STEAM to add the arts. And
Yeah.
so it's important to us to make sure that all of our students, all of our young people are being exposed to, opportunities in technology, in engineering, in arts, in math, because we know and studies have shown that that's where the opportunity is for our young people. So we've partnered with, a lot of the nonprofit organizations. Our Cox Charities grants focus on STEAM, and so we're supporting those organizations that are truly making a difference and, driving impact for young people. And so some of these organizations are providing young people with opportunities in coding. They're learning about, programming robots. They're also learning about conservation and environment, everything related to, just empowering our communities and making it a better place for the next generation.
Okay, let's talk about the coolest thing. You
Yes.
guys sponsor labs across, digital labs across Rhode Island. Talk about those digital labs, what they look like, what kind of equipment's in there, and what are some of the outcomes you're seeing from that level of investment and that engagement to give people really firsthand with best technology.
And that's one of my favorite programs, to be honest with you, is the Cox Innovation Labs. It's a great partnership that we've had for over 20 years with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Throughout Rhode Island, we've actually outfitted 20, labs right in Rhode Island, where organizations, where the Boys and Girls Clubs open their doors to young people and they're able to get on digital, all digital equipment from, high tech computers, 3D printing. They're working on their gaming skills. that show that this is important work when it comes to STEAM, just the openness and the access to science, technology, engineering, and math. It's all connected. And we continue to support those labs because we believe, right, in the importance of educational opportunities, but also having fun while you're doing it. So that's what these innovation labs do for our young people.
So these aren't Radio Shack computers that you'd buy
No.
for $4.99 for the family. These are 3D printers. People are doing real cutting edge work.
Yes, that's correct. So kids are, from 3D printing, they're creating their own t-shirt designs, on a MacBook, let's say, right?
Yeah.
It's a high-powered computer, and so they're learning how to use that technology to create and to be innovative. And so they're creating their own, artwork on the 3D printer, but also creating T-shirts. They're programming robots. We had a great partnership with the Newport Community School where the young people were actually building their robots and then programming them. So these are great opportunities, obviously, that we have for our kids, and it's something that we're truly passionate about, and we look forward to continuing to do for our community.
Rosie, talk a little bit about, Giving Tuesdays, this sort of, wonderful day in which people can, we generally split up ours. We give a little here and a little there and a little there. But talk about how important it is to these nonprofits. You interact with a lot of nonprofits. The federal COVID money is gone now. This is kind of that tough period of time for transition for a lot of nonprofits in Rhode Island. How can folks, individually go out and make a difference today and all the way through the holiday season?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Obviously, our nonprofits are, going through a lot of changes ever since 2020. They've seen investments kind of drop. And so it's really important to continue to give back to those organizations who are trying to do their best with so little. They've seen changes in staff, they've seen changes in just kind of like the overall dynamic throughout, not only Rhode Island, but throughout the country. And so it's important for us to show up. And it's not only about giving, money, it's also about showing up with your heart. It's also about showing up with your time and your talent. There are so many organizations that are just looking for people to, maybe help them with a marketing campaign, right? That's
Right.
one good way that a local marketing team can show up and really support these organizations. And kind of to rely on that volunteering is really important. And that's something that we're truly proud of here, and the way that our employees give of them, of their time. And so we actually have a group out today supporting Children's Friend and their Spirit of Giving campaign. That's another way that I believe that on Giving Tuesday, you as an individual, all of us can really make a difference in supporting all of our nonprofit partners.
Rosie, listen, thanks so much for taking the time. Really appreciate having you back. And for everybody else, stay tuned. There is a lot going on. We've got an update on GoLocal on the St. Joseph's Pension Fund collapse. That fund is now being taken over by the PBGC, a federal agency that will stabilize that and get those pensioners paid out. But it has been a rough 7 years in that situation. Providence College has a big game tonight at home in downtown against BYU. That's kind of a real big tough test for the Friars at home. Stay tuned on that. We've got coverage all day. And again, thanks everybody at Cox, and thanks you, Rosie, for joining us. Everybody stay safe. Enjoy the day.